Bad decision. Not good for the sport, bad decision by FIFA.
Infantino has to go, and you need a new president. And I think you can get a president who is better than Gianni Infantino, because you just need a president who, when someone says to him, President, do you think it's a good idea for Cristiano Ronaldo to play in the first 2 games of the World Cup when he's banned? You need the president to go, no, that's not going to happen. Do you think Florent Balogun should play when he's banned? No. Do you think tickets for the World Cup final should be $1 million? No, not on my watch. Do you think Donald Trump should get a FIFA Peace Prize? No, that's not happening. Do you think the World Cup should be 64 teams? No. Do you think the World Cup should be held on 3 continents? No.
So do you think
it's simple?
Picture the biggest names in world football all making the same decision at the same time. Spain, the reigning world champions, and the team that just lifted the trophy. France, England, Germany, Italy.
Can Gianni Infantino now hold on as FIFA president? UEFA say they've lost confidence in his leadership. His controversial plans for the World Cup are now over, and now he could face a vote on his future. The next FIFA presidential election is due to take place in March next year, and Infantino was set to run unopposed. But 43 of FIFA's 211 member nations could trigger an extraordinary Congress, where a vote of no confidence on his presidency could take place. UEFA, CONCACAF and the AFC have all spoken out about Infantino's proposals, but now they need a credible contender to come forward to replace him. Those plans to sell off a stake in the World Cup are now over. The question now is whether Infantino's time is up too.
Some of the richest, most successful, and most influential football nations on the planet, every one of them has reportedly delivered the same message to FIFA: we will not be showing up to the 2030 World Cup. This was not presented as a warning or a bargaining move. It was put forward as an official position. But those famous names are only the beginning. They are just 5 countries from a group of 55.
At a global event like this, you've said how inclusive it is, how welcoming it is as well. Are you embarrassed, therefore, by what actually has come to pass? And do you have to accept that you've lost some control of your own tournament here?
Instead of a handful of teams considering a boycott, the entire UEFA membership reportedly stood together in a single meeting, with every nation backing the same decision. So what could have pushed Europe's most powerful football confederation to consider turning away from the biggest tournament in the sport? The answer begins with a proposal that quickly caught everyone's attention. On Tuesday, Gianni Infantino introduced a formal plan for FIFA's future. Rather than keeping full control of the commercial rights to the World Cup and its other competitions, FIFA wants to place those rights into a newly created company called FIFA Forward Enterprise. The proposal goes even further. FIFA reportedly wants to sell around 20% of that new company to private investors in a deal valued at roughly $20 billion. Think about what that means. A share of the World Cup's commercial business could end up in the hands of private equity. The investor expected to lead the deal is a fund linked to Joshua Kushner, the founder of Thrive Capital. If that last name sounds familiar, there's a reason.
This is a man that cannot read the room, right? The word shame is not in his vocabulary. You cannot shame this man. He's brazen. Long before the World Cup, the Club World Cup was his idea as well. It was a money spinner, it should be shelved. If you watch the World Cup draw, that took cringe to different levels of cringe. And that showed you that this man here was not aware or was ignorant to the rest laughing at him. Not laughing at him because he wasn't making people a lot of money, because he was. But they were laughing at his actions. And his actions continued into the World Cup. And I'm not going to go over go over the coals again with this. But what he did during the World Cup was more harmful to the game than anybody making money. It was the integrity of the game, and we all know what I'm talking about. He was an utter disgrace, but he walked about this World Cup here in North America and beyond as if, as Joe said, as if he was untouchable.
Joshua Kushner is the brother of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of the President of the United States. Strip away the corporate language. And this is the picture many critics are focusing on. The biggest sporting event in the world, built over generations by players, supporters, and football associations across every continent, could have part of its commercial rights tied to a private investment fund with connections to the White House. FIFA, however, did not present the plan as giving away part of its biggest asset. Instead, Gianni Infantino described it as a major opportunity for football's future. According to FIFA, if the proposal is approved by its 211 member associations, the extra investment would flow back into the game.
They're talking about monies that nobody's really looked at and gone through with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, in terms of, is this going to generate over 12 years $40 million per federation? Nobody's ever checked that out, but it's being used as I'll call it the bribe in inverted commas. My view is that Infantino has actually doubled down on the problems that he has with UEFA. What he's actually done is gone and try and blame the media, and I think try to move away. He's talked about a planned consultation, but anybody who knows anything about business and putting in strategies such as this needs a consultation that's far more comprehensive than just giving them 53 days. And also, when you look at the proposal itself, it's pretty hard-baked. You've got bankers involved and so forth. You've got individuals identified. So there's clearly been no consultation. And I think him doing this is just him attempting to try and bat away the complaints that UEFA have and CONCACAF have as regards the consultation.
FIFA says each association could receive more than $80 million over the next 10 years, while development funding for smaller football nations would increase significantly. The offer sounded tempting on paper. FIFA argued that every association could benefit from a huge financial boost if the plan moved forward. But there was another detail that immediately raised concerns. Member associations were given a deadline of September 19th, leaving just over 6 weeks to approve a deal that could permanently reshape how the World Cup's commercial rights are managed. Reports also claim the confederations were not consulted before the proposal was announced, and that decision sparked the biggest backlash of all. For many football leaders, the issue was not only about the money or the investors, it was about the process. Instead of being included in discussions from the start, they felt they were being asked to approve a plan that had already been put together, with very little time to question it or suggest changes. UEFA responded first, and it responded quickly. On Thursday, European football's governing body held an emergency virtual meeting with all 55 member associations. According to reports, more than 50 representatives spoke during the meeting. By the end, the decision was unanimous. They agreed to support a boycott of the 2030 World Cup and other FIFA competitions for as long as the proposal remained active. They also called on FIFA to withdraw the plan and provide a binding commitment that its competitions would not be open to private ownership in the future. UEFA summed up its position with a clear message: the World Cup cannot be treated as an investment product. That statement captures the heart of the debate. Supporters of the proposal see the tournament's commercial rights as an asset that can attract outside investment. Opponents argue that the World Cup represents far more than a business opportunity and should not be open to private ownership. That difference in perspective is driving the entire dispute. For many people across the football world, the World Cup is part of the sport's shared history, built by generations of players, supporters, and national associations. They believe its value goes beyond financial returns, which is why the proposal has drawn such a strong reaction from some of the game's biggest organizations. The potential impact of a European boycott would also be difficult to ignore. If major football nations such as Spain, France, England, Germany, Italy, Portugal, the Netherlands, Croatia, and many other UEFA members stayed away, the tournament would look very different. Some critics argued that losing so many of the sport's strongest teams could significantly reduce the competition's appeal, its global audience, and the commercial value that investors would expect from an event of this scale. The first major test of this dispute would not even involve the men's game. FIFA's schedule includes the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil, along with several women's and youth competitions before then. If the reported boycott were to move forward, those events could become the first to feel its effects. That possibility has drawn attention because the players involved had no role in the disagreement over FIFA's proposal. Critics have argued that this risks turning women's football into a bargaining chip in a much larger governance battle. That claim has added another layer to an already heated debate, with concerns that competitions meant to grow the game could be caught in the middle of a conflict over commercial rights and decision-making. The reaction also extended beyond Europe. Reports say CONCACAF, which represents North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, including 41 member associations, held its own emergency meeting after FIFA's announcement. According to those reports, the Confederation, which includes World Cup co-hosts the United States, Canada, and Mexico, rejected the proposal, showing that concerns about the plan were not limited to UEFA alone. While CONCACAF stopped short of announcing a boycott, its criticism of the proposal was direct. The Confederation questioned the process behind the plan, pointing to concerns about due process, the short deadline, and what it described as a lack of proper governance. The US Soccer Federation also voiced support for those concerns. Soon after, the Asian Football Confederation, representing 47 member associations and often viewed as a key supporter of FIFA's leadership, released its own statement backing UEFA and CONCACAF while calling for an urgent review of how major decisions like this are made. Taken together, the numbers drew even more attention. UEFA's 55 members, CONCACAF's 41, and the AFC's 47 represent 143 of FIFA's 211 member associations. If those reports accurately reflect the level of opposition, the proposal would face a difficult path because FIFA requires majority support for measures of this scale. The pressure did not stop there. Carlos Cordero, a senior advisor to Gianni Infantino and FIFA's representative on the White House task force for the 2026 World Cup, announced his resignation and urged other senior officials to speak publicly if they shared similar concerns. That development also sparked fresh discussion about FIFA's next presidential election, with growing speculation that Infantino could face a serious challenger in a race that many had previously expected to be uncontested. If this situation sounds familiar, it's because similar debates have happened before. In 2021, Gianni Infantino backed the idea of holding the World Cup every 2 years, a proposal that faced strong resistance from UEFA and never moved forward. He also oversaw the expansion of the Men's World Cup to 48 teams, with discussions at various points about the possibility of expanding the tournament even further in the future. Critics say there is a clear pattern. Major proposals are often announced at the highest level before football's wider governing bodies have had much opportunity to debate them publicly. Some of those ideas have gone ahead, while others have met strong opposition. This latest proposal has quickly become one of the most controversial yet. At the same time, FIFA has its own case to make. The organization argues that the additional investment would not simply benefit FIFA itself. According to its proposal, the money would be directed back into football by increasing development funding for smaller and less wealthy member associations that do not have the financial resources enjoyed by Europe's biggest leagues. Infantino has described the plan as a proposal for members to consider, rather than a decision being forced upon them. FIFA has rejected the way the proposal has been described, arguing that nobody is selling football itself. From its perspective, the plan involves attracting outside investment into commercial rights, not giving away the sport. There is also a broader point worth considering. Private investment has become a major part of modern sport, helping finance clubs, leagues, and competitions around the world. In many cases, that funding has supported growth and new opportunities. Some observers have also noted that Europe's wealthiest football associations have their own interests to protect, making the debate more complicated than it first appears. That perspective deserves consideration. There is a genuine discussion to be had about how football should fund its future and how more of the game's revenue can reach smaller associations. Those questions are important and are likely to remain part of the conversation regardless of what happens with this proposal. For many critics, however, the biggest concern is not the idea of outside investment on its own. Instead, they point to the timing and the process. They argue that FIFA proposed the deal reportedly valued at around $20 billion, despite posting record financial results in recent years, while giving member associations only a short window to respond. They also question reports that the confederations were not consulted before the announcement. In their view, the controversy is as much about how the proposal was introduced as it is about the proposal itself. At the heart of this story is one simple question: who should have the final say over the future of the World Cup? For many people, the answer goes far beyond FIFA's leadership. They see the tournament as something built by generations of supporters, players, coaches, volunteers, and national associations. It's the fans filling stadiums and watching from every corner of the world. It's the smaller nations chasing a dream for years just to earn a place on football's biggest stage. It's the players who dedicate their careers for the chance to represent their countries. That is why this debate has become so much bigger than one proposal. FIFA's role has always been to guide and protect the game. Critics argue that this proposal crossed a line by raising questions about whether the sport's biggest competition should ever be connected to private ownership. Supporters of the plan believe new investment could strengthen football's future, while opponents believe some parts of the game should remain beyond that discussion. However this story ends, it has already sparked one of the biggest debates football has seen in years. Reports suggest Gianni Infantino expected broad support from FIFA's member associations. Instead, opposition quickly spread across multiple confederations. Senior figures publicly questioned the process, and even some people within FIFA reportedly distanced themselves from the proposal. Whether the plan is withdrawn, revised, or pushed forward, the next few weeks could shape the future direction of world football. Now it's your turn. Do you think FIFA was trying to secure more funding for the future of the game, or do you think this proposal went too far? Share your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those stories where every opinion adds something to the conversation. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Matchio, and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest stories in football. We cover the headlines everyone is talking about, the behind-the-scenes drama, and the moments that can change the game overnight. With the September deadline getting closer, there could be major updates at any moment, and we'll be here to break them all down as they happen. Thanks for watching, take care, and peace.